Imagine having the wisest people who ever lived, Buddha, Confucius, Seneca, Emerson, even Jesus, sitting in your living room every single morning. They aren't there to lecture you. They're there to give you one single, powerful thought to carry you through the day. One thought to stop the anxiety. One thought to kill the ego. One thought to remind you what actually matters. This isn't a fantasy. This was Leo Tolstoy's last and greatest project. While the world knows him for War and Peace, Tolstoy spent the final years of his life doing something much quieter. He curated the ultimate guide to living a good life. He called it a calendar of wisdom. If you feel lost, overwhelmed, or just tired of the noise, this book is the quiet signal you've been waiting for. We live in an age of information overload. You have 1,000 notifications, 100 emails, and endless news feeds screaming for your attention. But amidst all that data, there is zero wisdom. You know what's happening in the world, but you don't know how to live in it. You know how to make money, but you don't know how to be happy. You are drowning in knowledge, but starving for truth. This problem isn't new, but it's worse than ever. We are spiritually malnourished. We feed our bodies, but we starve our souls. And the result? Anxiety, emptiness, a constant gnawing feeling that we are wasting our lives on things that don't matter. Tolstoy saw this coming. He built this book as a daily antidote to the chaos. If you ignore it, you'll keep drifting. But if you use it, you'll build a foundation that no storm can shake. But here's the wild part. Tolstoy didn't just write this book. He lived it. He was a wealthy count. He had fame, land, and money. And he walked away from almost all of it. He realized that everything society values, status, wealth, power, was a trap. So he spent 15 years collecting these thoughts. He considered this book, not his famous novels, to be his most important contribution to humanity. Think about that. The guy who wrote Anna Karenina thought this little book of daily quotes was his masterpiece. Why? Because novels entertain you, but wisdom saves you. We aren't going to read every single day. That would take hours. Instead, we are going to extract the core themes that Tolstoy believed were essential for a meaningful life. We'll cover God, intellect, love, work, and death. Let's dive in. Theme 1. God and the Soul, the Foundation. If you want to know who you are, don't look in the mirror. Look at what you worship. Tolstoy starts with the spiritual. But don't get hung up on the word God if you aren't religious. For Tolstoy, God is the shorthand for the highest moral law, the infinite, the thing that connects all of us. He believes that the soul is a divine spark within you. Your job isn't to find God, it's to clear away the junk so the spark can shine. This is about transcendence. Psychologists know that humans have a fundamental need to connect to something bigger than themselves. When we lose that connection, we become neurotic and self-obsessed. Tolstoy argues that acknowledging a higher power, or higher principle, frees you from the tyranny of your own ego. It stops you from thinking you are the center of the universe. Imagine a lamp. The lampshade is your body. It's temporary, fragile, and can break. The light inside is your soul. Most people spend their whole lives polishing the lampshade. They worry about how it looks, what color it is, if it's chipped. Tolstoy says, forget the shade. Focus on the light. The light is the only thing that helps you see in the dark. Without the light, a beautiful lamp is just a useless object in a dark room. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You are obsessed with yourself. You worry about your reputation, your bank account, your looks. Tolstoy calls this the animal self. And as long as you serve the animal self, you will be miserable, because the animal self always dies. Only the spiritual self lasts. The morning dedication. Before you check your phone, take 30 seconds. Ask yourself, what principle will I serve today? Not what do I need to do, but who do I need to be? Set your compass before you start walking. But how do you actually connect with this soul? You have to use the one tool most people are afraid to use properly. Theme 2. Intellect and Truth. The Tool. The most dangerous thing in the world isn't a gun. It's a false idea that you believe is true. Tolstoy was obsessed with truth. He believed that our intellect is a divine gift, but we misuse it. We use our brains to justify our bad behavior, to argue, and to complicate things. True intellect is simple. It cuts through the noise. It aligns your life with moral law. This is cognitive dissonance reduction. We often do bad things, like lying or being lazy, and then use our intellect to invent a reason why it's okay. I lied to protect his feelings. I'm lazy because I'm burnt out. Tolstoy calls this intellectual dishonesty. He challenges us to use our minds to expose our lies, not to cover them up. Wisdom isn't knowing a lot of facts. It's knowing the difference between what is right and what is easy. Think of a compass. Your intellect is the needle. It should always point north, truth. But desires, fear, and society are like magnets. They pull the needle off course. If you surround yourself with magnets, bad influences, lies, distractions, your compass breaks. You think you're heading north, but you're walking in circles. You have to remove the magnets to see where you're actually going. Most of what you call thinking is just rearranging your prejudices. You aren't looking for the truth. You are looking for validation. You read news that agrees with you. You talk to friends who validate you. Tolstoy says, "Stop seeking agreement. Seek truth, even if it hurts, especially if it hurts." The why drill. When you state an opinion, ask yourself why 3 times. I hate that politician. Why? Because he's bad. Why? Because the news said so. Why do you trust that news? Dig until you hit the bedrock of truth, or the mud of your own bias. Once you see the truth, there is only one logical way to act. And it's the hardest thing in the world to do consistently. Theme 3. Love and Kindness. The Action. Love isn't a feeling. It's a violence you commit against your own ego. For Tolstoy, love is the supreme law. But he doesn't mean romantic love or fuzzy feelings. He means universal love. The conscious decision to treat every human being, even your enemies, as part of yourself. He quotes Christ, Buddha, and Lao Tzu to show that this is the core message of every great tradition. Separation is an illusion. We are all one. This taps into pro-social behavior and altruism. Evolutionarily, we are wired to care for our tribe and fear outsiders. Tolstoy argues we must hack our biology. We must expand our circle of empathy to include everyone. When you hate someone, you are drinking poison and expecting them to die. Hatred destroys the vessel it is stored in. Love heals the giver more than the receiver. Imagine your hand. If your left hand gets cut, your right hand doesn't say, "Not my problem." It immediately helps. It applies pressure. It bandages the wound. Why? Because they are part of the same body. Tolstoy says, humanity is one body. When you hurt your neighbor, you are essentially taking a hammer and smashing your own foot. It's not just mean, it's stupid. You think you are a good person because you love your family and friends. Tolstoy says, that's easy. Even criminals love their friends. The test of your character is how you treat the person who annoys you. The person who cut you off in traffic. The person who voted for the wrong candidate. If you can't show kindness to them, you don't have love. You have preference. The Secret Kindness Challenge. Do one kind thing today that nobody will ever know about. Pick up trash. Let someone merge. Send an anonymous gift. Don't post it on social media. Don't tell your spouse. Do it just to prove to yourself that you can serve without a reward. Love is great, but we still have to eat. We still have to work. How does wisdom apply to the grind? Theme 4. Work and labor, the discipline. Work is not a curse. It is the only thing that keeps you sane. Tolstoy hated the idea of the leisure class. He believed that physical labor was essential for spiritual health. He believed that relying on others to do your dirty work corrupts your soul. There is dignity in effort. There is shame in idleness. This aligns with the concept of self-efficacy and flow. When we work, we engage with reality. We solve problems. We feel capable. Idleness breeds neurosis. When you have nothing to do, your mind eats itself. Tolstoy, despite being a rich count, learned to make shoes and worked in the fields with peasants. He found more peace in a day of hard labor than in a month of luxury. Think of water. Running water is clear, fresh, and full of life. Stagnant water becomes swampy, smelly, and toxic. Work is the flow. It keeps your mind and soul fresh. Idleness is the swamp. If you stop moving, you start rotting. You think the goal of life is to retire and do nothing. Tolstoy warns, that is the fast track to misery. Look at the super rich. Look at the lottery winners. They are often the most unhappy people on earth because they have lost the struggle. The struggle gives you purpose. Don't try to escape it. Sweat every day. No matter how intellectual your job is, do something physical every day. Clean your own house. Fix something. Exercise until you are dripping sweat. Remind your body that it is a tool for action, not just a vessel for your brain. But no matter how hard you work or how much you love, there is one thing you cannot escape. The end. Theme 5. Death, the reality check. You are going to die. And that is the best news you've heard all day. Most people live in denial of death. We hide it in hospitals. We don't talk about it. Tolstoy says, put death right in front of your face. Remembering death doesn't make life sad. It makes it urgent. It makes it precious. It strips away the bullshit. You can't take your money, your fame, or your Instagram followers with you. So why are you wasting your life on them? This is memento mori. Remember, you must die. Terror management theory suggests that our fear of death drives most of our ambition. We build statues to try to live forever. Tolstoy says, accept it. When you accept that your time is limited, you stop procrastinating on the things that matter. You forgive faster. You love harder. You speak the truth. Imagine you are at a party. It's a great party, but you know your ride is leaving in 10 minutes. Do you spend those 10 minutes arguing about politics? Do you spend them scrolling on your phone? No. You find the people you love. You hug them. You say what needs to be said. You enjoy the music. Life is that party, and your ride is already outside honking the horn. Stop wasting time in the corner. You are acting like you have forever. You hold grudges for years. You put off your dreams for decades. Tolstoy says, you are a fool. You might not wake up tomorrow. Live today as if it is your last. Not in a reckless way, but in a meaningful way. The eulogy exercise. Write your own eulogy. Not the one you hope people give, but the one they would give if you died today. He spent a lot of time at the office. She watched a lot of Netflix. Does that depress you? Good. Now write the eulogy you want, and start living it. This brings us to the final lesson, the one that ties it all together. If you're still listening, you are different. Most people want the hack. They want the shortcut. Tolstoy teaches us that there is no shortcut. There is only the path. Wisdom isn't a destination you reach. It's a way of walking. It's a daily practice of cleaning your lens so you can see the world clearly. This book, A Calendar of Wisdom, is just a tool to help you walk that path. But you have to take the steps. 6. Deep dive. Tolstoy's radicalism. We need to understand something about Leo Tolstoy. He wasn't just a writer, he was a radical. He was excommunicated by the Russian Orthodox Church because he said the Church had lost the true teaching of Jesus. He corresponded with Gandhi and inspired the nonviolent movement that freed India. He was a vegetarian before it was cool. He freed his serfs before the government ended serfdom. Why does this matter? Because when he tells you to live with integrity, he isn't preaching from a pulpit. He put his skin in the game. He dismantled his entire privileged life because he realized it was incompatible with the truth. Here's what that actually means in real life. It means wisdom requires courage. It's scary to change. It's scary to go against the crowd. It's scary to admit you were wrong. But Tolstoy shows us that the only thing scarier than changing is staying the same. If that stings a little, good. It means it's true for you. Tolstoy says, "Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself." Stop pointing fingers. Stop blaming society. Stop blaming your parents. Fix your own house first. He says, "He who has learned to pray has learned not asking for things, but creating a moment of silence where you align yourself with the good. If you are too busy to be silent, you are too busy to live." He says, "The only time that is important is now." The past is a memory. The future is a fantasy. If you aren't doing the right thing right now, you aren't doing it at all. So, where does this leave us? We have wisdom from the greatest minds in history, filtered through the genius of Leo Tolstoy. We know that God, or the good, is the foundation. We know that intellect must serve the truth. We know that love is the only rational way to live. We know that work keeps us sane. We know that death gives us focus. From A Calendar of Wisdom, here are 5 things you can start doing today. 1. Read one piece of wisdom every morning. Before the news, before the emails, prime your mind with truth. 2. Judge yourself, not others. Catch yourself when you criticize. Turn that lens inward. Fix your own flaws. 3. Do physical work. Connect with the physical world. Humble yourself with labor. 4. Practice random kindness. Break the cycle of selfishness. Do good in secret. 5. Remember, you will die. Let that thought strip away the trivial worries of your day. Tolstoy's message is simple. The kingdom of God is within you. Happiness is within you. Peace is within you. You just have to stop looking for it everywhere else. If this summary centered you, you're in the right place. We break down the most powerful books in the world to help you build a stronger mind and a better life.